Let me say this is the worst night of my career. This is clearly a tragedy in the city of Charleston, and we are all praying, and our hearts go out to the victims and their families, as well as this entire community. At 9:05 this evening, we received a call of a shooting that had occurred at the church here on Calhoun Street. When officers arrived, they found a number of victims inside, and we had also individuals that were transported to the MUSC Emergency Trauma Center. As the investigation continued, we were able to determine that there were 8 deceased individuals inside of the church. 2 individuals were transported to the MUSC. One of them has died. So at this point, we have 9 victims in this heinous crime that has been committed. Right now, we are working with all of our partners. We have members of the Charleston Police Department, the Charleston County Sheriff's Department, SLED, the FBI, and many other, the ATF and many other federal agencies are here. We have a unified command that is working this investigation. We have investigators that are out tracking leads that are coming in, and we will continue to do that until we find this individual who has carried out this crime tonight and bring him to justice. We are looking for a white male, approximately 21 years old, sandy blonde hair, and he obviously is extremely dangerous. And what we are asking that if anyone in the community has information about this particular individual, that he contact law enforcement immediately. We have all the resources that are available to us, not only locally but from the state as well as federal agencies. We have resources that are being flown in right now from Washington, D.C. that will help us not only track leads but also work this investigation. And I can say that we will put all effort, we will put all resources, and we will put all of our energy into finding this individual who committed this crime tonight. And as I said earlier, this is a tragedy that no community should have to experience. It is senseless, and it is unfathomable that somebody in today's society would walk into a church when people are having a prayer meeting and take their lives. And I can assure you that we are going to do everything in our power to find this individual, to lock him up, and to make sure that he does not hurt anyone else.
Any word on the victims' names at this time, Chief?
We are not able to release any of that. The coroner is now working that particular part of the investigation. And just let me say, I know that there was some questions earlier about why we weren't coming forward. As you can imagine, this was a very chaotic scene when we arrived. We had a lot of moving parts. We were tracking this individual with canines. We were making sure that he was not in the area to commit other crimes. And as all this was going on, we received information that there might be a secondary explosive device in the scene. So we had to make sure that not only our responders, but you and other people in the community were safe. So I promise you that we will keep you updated. We will give you regular updates as quickly as we can. But please understand that the primary role right now and the primary emphasis is going to be us catching this individual before he hurts somebody else.
Is this being investigated as a hate crime, Chief?
We'll take questions after the mayor speaks.
This is a most unspeakable and heartbreaking tragedy. In historic Emmanuel AME Church, Mother Church of the AME churches, people in prayer on a Wednesday evening, a ritual, coming together, praying and worshiping God, to have an awful person come in and shoot them is inexplicable, obviously the most intolerable and unbelievable act possible. As Chief Mellon said, our city police department, county police department, state law enforcement division, other municipalities, and the FBI, and others are all combined and working with us to make sure that we catch this awful person and bring him to justice as soon as possible. We just left speaking with members of the family. It was a heartbreaking scene I have never witnessed in my life before. And I told them that this community sends forth their love to them, and that we are all in this together in this community to help those who have lost a loved one get through this time and give them love and support and encouragement as we bring this awful person to justice as soon as humanly possible.
Is the city offering any reward in hopes of capturing the shooter?
We will be offering a reward. We'll have to look at that tomorrow to see exactly what the amount will be, but I can guarantee you that tomorrow we will be announcing a reward. And what I would ask as well is that obviously if you as the media receive any information at all in any form or fashion, please make sure that you get that to us as soon as possible, because it's sure is likely that you might be getting some information via your resources.
There's been a report that the Somerville Journal Scene got a call from a gentleman claiming responsibility. Is there any legitimacy to that in your opinion?
We're looking at all leads right now. We're not going to talk about how the investigation is proceeding, so we'll be happy to answer questions that are non-specific to the investigation.
Are there any survivors right now? Did anybody survive the shooting?
There are, yes.
How many?
We're not going to talk about specific numbers, but there are individuals who survived.
Do you believe the man who was brought into the Marriott in cuffs, can you speak to his involvement in this?
We're not talking about any of that investigative activity at this time.
Can you speak to the condition of Senator Pinckney?
We're not identifying any victims, so I'm not speaking to the condition of any individuals at this point.
Do you believe this was a hate crime?
I do believe this was a hate crime.
Is that why the FBI is here? Is it being investigated as a hate crime?
It will be investigated as a hate crime, but the FBI would be here regardless because of the size and scope of the investigation, and they're our partners, and they would be here to help us regardless, but they're here for that specific person.
Now, without going into the specifics, if it's being investigated...
The only reason someone could walk into a church and shoot people praying is out of hate. The only reason that it is the most dastardly act that one can possibly imagine. And we will bring that person to justice as soon as possible.
Now, how does that investigation go? How does a hate crime investigation, how does that differ from a regular investigation?
The methods and the techniques that will be used in the investigation will be the exact same thing. What occurs is as we go forward with any type of prosecution, that's where those particular regulations would come into play.
Do you know, as far as you know, there is only one gunman, is that right? Or
as far as we know right now, there's only one person that we're looking at. That's correct.
We've seen some prayer.
I can't listen. I can only answer one person. So
we've seen some prayer, and we've seen obviously some anger as well. What's the message to the community right now?
Well, the message to the community is that this is an opportunity for us all to unite because of a significant tragedy that has occurred. And what we need right now is we need everybody to come together and pray for these families, and we need them to come together and help us find this person so nobody else is hurt. And what we need is for the community to look at this and say, we have had enough of this violence, and if we stand up together, we can stop this violence, and that's what we need the community to do. So I understand that people might be angry, I understand that they might be upset, and that is certainly emotions that we would all understand. What we need that to do, though, is come together and help us to, one, support the families, support our community, and catch this person so that he doesn't hurt somebody else.
Chief, while we're in the streets,
the message is that this is one hateful person, one hateful person that did these dastardly deeds, one hateful person. So all of the rest of us need to work to help find this person, give the police any leads you might find, and then give love and support to the family members of those whose lives were taken.
We have a member of the church that would like to, the presiding elder of the church.
Let me take this opportunity on behalf of...
Spell your name, please?
My last name is spelled G-O-F-F. I'm the presiding elder of the Edisto District of the South Carolina Annual Conference, which includes, my first name is Norvell, N-O-R-V-E-L, which includes Mother Emanuel Church. On behalf of Richard Franklin Norris, the presiding prelate of the 7th Episcopal District, which is the entire state of South Carolina, and there's only one voice that speaks for the AME Church, in South Carolina. That's Bishop Norris. And as a presiding elder, I'm here to report that Bishop Norris also reinforced with the mayor. He's already spoken with Mayor Riley and support the statement of the police chief. We have more than 50 some odd AME preachers on the grounds and at the Embassy Suite Hotel, along with the members of Mother Emanuel AME Church. We will hold a prayer vigil at 12 noon tomorrow at Morris Brown Church here in Charleston, where the Reverend Dr. Watkins is the pastor. We want the entire community to pray for safety for our people, and that we would hope that this person who has committed this heinous crime, which is a hate crime, be brought to justice. So we stand in solidarity, but we also solicit your prayers for the family members who have lost loved ones here tonight. Thank you so much.
Do you have a sense of how many people were in the church at the time of the shooting?
I can't answer that. The police chief would have to do that.
We're finished right now. We'll be back in a couple of hours. We'll notify you when we're coming back.
Is the bomb threat
Thank you very
ongoing?
much.
Is there anything in terms of safety people need to know?